The new Wicked movie was a masterclass on white feminism and its pitfalls. At least that is the lens through which I am choosing to review the movie. But first, give Cynthia and Ariana their things. Oscars, Emmys, everything. Give them things. Like, hats off to them. This was perfect. Anyways, I think back to more sort of serious stuff. By serious stuff, I mean white feminism, yes, I'm doing it, and allyship. This movie feels like it was a commentary more broadly on minorities and our unwillingness to stand in our own power and the feeling that we always want to share everything with the majority. This was spectacular done, the storytelling. Like, why was Elphaba why was Elphaba telling Galinda that together they can do anything? What can Glinda do? Like, for real, what can I'm gonna say Galinda and then change to Glinda and you'll understand why. Absolutely nothing. Like, Galinda can do absolutely nothing. And so the mess begin. Look, grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get it, and let's get into this movie review. And the theater nerd in me had to get the Starbucks cup, the Wicked. I had to. I need the film to succeed. But this review is through a sociological lens. Please know that before you proceed. For all the theater geeks, welcome. You can comment below, but no, this is more of an analytical look at the film and its relation to the world, not a straight up review of the film. So again, welcome, subscribe, happy to have you. I care mostly about Elphaba and Galinda's friendship with each other and the impact their individual fights had on the other person and the world, their worldview. I use friendship very loosely. As a quick review of the movie, for those who haven't seen and just want to know what I'm talking about, I'm just going to go ahead and say this movie was great, really, really good. I would argue the synopsis that says this was about a friendship between two women is not completely accurate. And again, I will explain. I will explain why I think that it is misleading.
I would give. Should I give a summary of the movie, like for real, for real? But I kind of don't want to. I feel like if
All right. For those who haven't watched, Wicked is a different take on the Wicked Witch in The Wizard of Oz. I feel like that's a good summary. I'm going to leave the summary. That is a summary you get. Also, before we get out of the summary of the movie, let's quickly discuss the biggest pick me in the show, Elphaba's sister. No, it's not Galinda. It's Elphaba's sister. You know that. Actually, you know what? Let's not give her her own section. All I have for her is a nasty drag for how absolutely annoying she is and ungrateful for all her sister did for her. I don't really care for her character at all, which means the actor did a great job portraying just a selfish, bratty person who is absolutely diabolical and does not deserve any kind of sympathy or care in my book. I think she's despicable. So, scandals. The first scandal I didn't care about is that Ariana was dating this man who left his wife and newborn baby who they met on the set of Wicked. I think you should drag him and leave her alone. The next is Cynthia going off on a fan for photoshopping the cover art to match the original cover, thus hiding Cynthia's face under the hat. The backlash here against Cynthia was unnecessary, while she does have a bigger platform and should be careful with how she addresses fans. I can also understand a black woman being offended that her face is being covered by a fan art. One could read easily into this malintent, and so I do not have the kind of hate for her on this point like racist trolls seem to have online. Give this woman a break. She killed that performance eight down, and she seemed to always be graceful and gracious. I don't care about your opinion. People call for a boycott of the movie because of her response, which was absolutely unfair and I think out of order. The call for a boycott, that is not her response to the fan art, which was also extreme and not really careful. She should be more careful, but it's a mistake. The issue around Cynthia and Ariana's body is another subject that I refuse to engage with. I don't fully understand why everybody have this urge to comment on other people's body. It's actually scary how comfortable we are commenting on other people's bodies and what people choose to do with their bodies, which isn't none of our concerns. Leave people alone, or take it to like a private chat, a private Discord, a group message or something. Don't put that on out in public. You don't know how you're affecting people. Oh, also, why are you all mad at how affectionate these two, Cynthia and Ariana, are on their press tour for the Wicked movie? Are they pretending? I don't know, but why does it affect you so much? Like, chill. Like, let them two be quirky and fun. I like watching them together. It feels like I'm watching two new celebrities realizing their dream come true, and I love that for them. If they secretly don't like each other, then so be it. But for now, just appreciate the affection they show each other. We don't see that often, and it's really nice and refreshing. Like, let it go. Like, stop trying to pretend like you are holier than thou. I love how messy and corny and geeky it all is. Just let these girls be girls. Let these girls be girls. I mean, I think Ariane is actually older than I am. Anyway, let's continue. Now to the movie. Please note, this is filled with spoilers for those who are not familiar with the story. I cannot recommend this movie more. It is a 9 out of 10. It is absolutely well done, beautifully acted. Again, give Ariana and Cynthia their things. People, they ate it down. Okay, again, this was the best movie that I've seen this year. I laughed, cried, and felt all the feels watching. Dune, Dune Part 2 might have been the only recent competitor. I did not expect to like it so much. I did not expect to have random tears running down my face when, after Alphaba arrived at the party with the hat gifted to her as a joke by Galinda, she is laughed at and rejected by the entire student body in attendance. That part, I cried, and my friend's hands were around me at this point, comforting me. So, backstory: Alphaba is invited to study magic at the school. She's not really wanted by anyone. She decides to stay and study in hopes to one day meet the wizard, the great and powerful wizard, to grant her wish, her greatest desire, to not be green anymore. She is hated at the school, but she stays. She is headstrong, smart, and extremely powerful. She is determined to make her dream come true, even if no one likes her at the school. Her sister seems embarrassed by her. By the way, she only is at the school to get her sister situated, and then she's just invited after showing her power. But again, her sister seems embarrassed by her there. But I said, I'm not going to speak on the sister, so I won't. Galinda is the popular girl. She has it all. Well, except she does not get to study magic because she has no magic. This is something she really wants, but will have to learn to live without, as again, she has no magic. I will skip the plot and jump to the points I want to make now, because I don't want to run through the entire plot of the movie. I'm just going to skip around. We quickly get used to Elphaba being rejected, being the outsider, being green. So when she shows up to the party, we know it is going to be rejection. This is what we've gotten used to. However, this time was different. It was more painful, like Mean Girls, right? Elphaba was set up by the popular girl in the school, the one that is now jealous of her roommate, Galanda. Galinda laughs with her friends about how ugly a hat she had was and how hideous anyone who wore it would be. She would then gift it to Alphaba. This, again, is a gift of an ugly hat that makes the wearer look ugly. She would gift that to her roommate, inviting Alphaba to come to a dance the students at school was throwing. A dance Alphaba did not care about, at least not to us. She wasn't invited. She was an outcast. She was alone. This is Alphaba. Yet, she was excited to be gifted a hat, a present, to be welcome to something she was not a part of, to be included. Without any hesitation, she runs to her professor, attempting to return the favor, to give something back to Galinda. There is a theory that I must mention right now that the reason Elphaba went to the school dance or party was because her sister was invited and she found out that Galinda helped her sister, and so she wanted to repay the gift by going to her professor to get Galinda into the magic class. This is a theory. I don't remember fully what happened here. I thought it was because of the gifted hat and the personal invite, but I could be wrong on this note about her reasoning for going to the party. But that's it. All right, let's get back to the video. Remember, Galinda really wants to go study magic. Galinda came into the school wanting to study magic. The problem again was she did not have any magical abilities, and the professor did not like, nor did the professor want to teach her. The only reason why magic was even being taught that semester was because the professor of magic, which whenever she's interacting with Galinda, it's the funniest thing in the world, and I love it. Played by the most amazing actress, Michelle Yeoh, saw Elphaba had real magic and wanted to teach. We'll get to the teach her, Elphaba. Elphaba leveraged this reality and asked her professor to also teach Galinda, or she, Elphaba, would leave the school. The professor accepts and invites Galinda to the class, letting her know that the only reason she was being invited to study magic was because Elphaba told her, the professor, that she would quit and leave the school if Galinda was not also invited. The catalyst again for Elphaba going to her professor to get Galinda to study magic is precisely because of a gift she was given in the form of a hat and being invited to go to the school dance. She, Elphaba, does not know she's only being invited as a joke to be laughed at. Galinda's character could have been redeemed if she did not know what Elphaba did to get her into the magic class and still stepped up to help someone being shamed. However, her knowledge of Elphaba's good deed and knowing that Elphaba could take what she's always wanted, Galinda, to study magic, Elphaba could take that away from her at any point. This knowledge that Galinda came about when the professor came and explained why she, Galinda, was being invited to study magic, confuses her morality in a way that reeks of what I call white feminism. It was not true help that she provided. It was not love or care why she stood up for Elphaba. Standing up for others so long as you benefit and your position is not compromised. Before the 15th Amendment, the name Susan B. Anthony should ring a bell here, believe that white women were more deserving of the right to vote than black women. She worked with racist suffragists and was criticized for anti-black rhetoric. White feminism is summed up in very specific ways, and I think by a very specific quote by Susan B. Anthony, who stated, and I quote, "I will cut off this right arm of mine before I will ever work or demand the ballot for the Negro and not the woman." Because in her mind, women weren't black, and the fight for equality would not extend beyond that which would benefit her. At least that's what she wanted first. This, I believe, is white feminism, which is what we are actually here to discuss, and why I absolutely adore, might I say, love this film so much, because it does not shy away from showing Galinda in the most obvious girl boss white feminist way possible. For those who want this to be a video on corrective representation and the lack thereof, you can make that video. If after you watch the film and decide to use the black woman and white woman struggle and friendship as a lens to view the work, when you're done, if your conclusion on the first part, the first movie, is a problem with representation and the black woman being the witch, I think I might just disagree with your analysis about what is being done with the movie. I don't think this is an issue of corrective promotion. In truth, the friendship dynamic between a person from a marginalized group and someone from a majority group, can easily be analyzed through this film. The exploitation of black women's labor by white feminists is the most direct connection here, almost one to one in terms of comparison. Regardless of whether the who is playing Elphaba was black or white, it is easier to see visually now that the actor is black. But it was and is still there. That is, the ideas around sort of friendship between a black woman fighting for equality or justice against a system and white feminists claiming that they are in fact doing the same, which I find really suspect generally. But we'll continue. We move. When Elphaba joins the other student in the party wearing the hat gifted to her as a prank by Galinda, being laughed at and shamed, did Galinda help Elphaba because she, Elphaba, was a person in need of help? Did she step up because Elphaba was in pain and she really wanted to help with that suffering? Nowhere else in the movie does Galinda stand up for anyone else. Nowhere else does she sacrifice. At every turn, she only engages in ways that would benefit her. She has never done anything that did not directly benefit her and drive her needs, her goals forward. She prioritizes herself whenever she can. I have no other conclusion here than she just kind of wanted to be in the magic class, and without Elphaba's approval, she could not get this. I'm sure along the way she must have had genuine feelings, even care for Elphaba. The issue here is that she only benefit from her friendships, and at no point does she, Galinda, sacrifices anything at all for anyone. Galinda is self serving and self centered. Everyone around her has to be used to her benefit, to uplift her, hiding how truly mediocre she is, even with the love of the entire school and access to other students, access to other resources that no one else in the school has, even with the boyfriend that everyone wants. She still wanted the very little Elphaba had. She was still jealous of the outcast, the unwanted, the unloved. In all her elevated status, in all the worship she received from others, she wanted the one thing Elphaba had. She wanted that which was a part of Elphaba. She wanted that girl's magic. That just feels so specifically like black girl magic, don't it? And if she could get it, she would, but she couldn't. So guess what? She was about to fake it. She was going to fake it. The tears ran down my face at the dance. We are still at the dance. I promise we are going to leave the dance. The tears ran down my face at the dance because I do know what it feels like to not be included, to be different, to be rejected, at least initially. This is before I start running things in every school that I went to. There's a point of rejection. Even knowing that Galinda was being selfish, it was nice to see someone stand up for the person who was the outcast. It was a warm feeling to see Elphaba included, to see her smile, even with the tears running down her green skin like raindrops holding onto a leaf. It was a new turning point of inclusion, of tolerance. And this is the problem: tolerance. The very human need to be included, to be loved, to be friends. This is a softness that gets exploited each and every time. The need to show you are not a threat, to hide your true potential, to elevate others. Deep down, there is a knowing. Galinda is the master, and you can never outshine her. Your light can shine, but only so long as theirs, shine brighter. White feminism and the problem of respectability and tolerance, I think, is the most obvious problem in the film, for good reason, as it highlights a more broad societal problem, a broader societal problem. I love that the movie doesn't shy away from the reality of friendships like the ones between Galinda and Elphaba, where the power balance and the need for social acceptance is centered. The one with less power seemingly always compromising, allowing the powerful one to have their way. I say powerful because we know Galinda don't have no real power. This power can be real or imagined. We see this in Galinda, shortening Elphaba's name. Even when Elphaba rejects this bastardization of her name, she has to accept it. Alfie is now her new name. When she tries to give Galinda a new name, Galinda refuses any new name, any addition, shortening of her name. And in fact, she's very adamant that the professors correctly pronounce her name because she is valuable. She's worth it. She gets to dictate the terms of friendship and engagement. Elphaba does not. Her intolerance of anything that does not, Galinda, intolerance of everything that does not go her way in the friendship, in the alliance, is a key point of note. The only person that compromises is Elphaba. Galinda has to get her way. She has a path. She has a plan. Elphaba is just another tool to actualize her, Galinda's dream. Nothing more, nothing less. But with all this discussion, with all with all this discussion, I cannot disparage Galinda for her morals. Judging her using my own morality is pointless. But I do not think this is useful in a very specific way because she uses what she has, untalented as a sorceress as she is, to get what she wants. It is not her fault Elphaba is needy and does not have her own plan. Elphaba, while she is in fact powerful, the most powerful person in the kingdom, she does not have a sense of direction, of importance. She does not have a vision. Wanting to do the right thing without a larger picture makes her a tool in everyone else's plan, being continuously used and discarded for her powers, for her magic, for her purpose. To be this ignorant, though, was a choice Elphaba made, and yes, I'm harder on her. Why, you may ask? Because she knows the truth. She understands the story she is in. She gets the people, but she refuses to stand up and make her own plan before she flies away in the end, where she finally decided, okay, I'm going to stand up on my own and saying defying gravity, which is amazing. But she justifies her friendship with Galinda in the most bizarre way possible. Elphaba looked at Galinda and accurately described who Galinda is when she says, "You grovel in submission to feed your own ambition," in reference to Galinda's willingness to do whatever it takes with people in power to get what she wants. Yes, yes, and yes. And she will continue to do it for the system, for men, for anyone who she believes will help her to leave from that moment where you were so Elphaba, accurately describing Galinda, to move from that moment to then go to Galinda and say that we, quote, can change the world together. We are powerful together. Girl, where is that power? You are powerful by yourself. Galinda literally is useless. This entire time, hoping, by the way, to latch on to anything or anyone that can give her fame or notoriety. She has not done one good thing for you or anyone else in this film that did not directly benefit her. Elphaba's neediness, your unwillingness to be alone, your wanting her friendship is the only thing that could blind you to the reality of how absolutely useless she has been. Galinda literally comes to the table with nothing and walks away every time with everything, offering absolutely again nothing, no help, no grace, nothing. And while we can say Galinda is trying, this is all she knows how to do. I won't blame her for not having anything else to give, but I can say, well, if you have nothing else to give in a friendship, stop being in that friendship. Like, you don't offer anything. You have now become a parasite. Okay, a parasite is wild. Maybe that was a bit too much. You think that might have been too much, calling her a parasite? But if you generally think I am exaggerating, let's look at the major plot points for their friendships from my perspective. So, animals are going missing. A goat is a professor and he was removed from the classroom. Alphaba, who was raised by animals, is upset and wants to do something about it. The school gathered. Galinda's boyfriend, who also is empathetic and concerned about the animals being missing, says this out loud about his concern. Galinda recognized the moment, announces to the school that she would change her name in solidarity with the animals going missing, naming herself Glinda, to match the name the goat professor called her, as he, the goat professor, could not pronounce Galinda's name accurately. Now remember, if you do remember, she always insists on everyone getting her name correct, right? And so when the goat could not get her name correct because of how it spoke, she now changed her name in quote solidarity, even though she changes everyone else's name. At least Elphaba's name, she was insistent that everyone got her name correct. So now she's changing her name to prove that she stands in solidarity with the animals being missing by calling herself what the goat professor mistakenly called her name. She's just changing her name. She's not doing anything. It was okay and safe for her to take a moment and make it about herself by changing her name. She announces as if she's about to stand up for justice and equality and fight for these animals. But when it was time to do real work, she handed Elphaba a cape and wished her well in the fight against the system. Galinda said, "Good luck, babe. I don't do actual work." Once the position stopped benefiting her, once things got too rough, well, Elphaba was left on her own. Does this remind you of anything? Anything at all? The black squares? I remember them black squares. And period. Here is a quote from author Koa Beck, and I quote, "The goal of white feminism is not to alter systems that oppress women, patriarchy, capitalism, imperialism, but to succeed within them." Tell me that does not describe Galinda to a T. This much was clear with Galinda. She did not want to fight a system. She did not want to change anything for anyone. She merely wanted to benefit from the system, to do better in it, to succeed. So much was she integrated in the system that she was sent to use her friendship to convince Elphaba, her so-called friend, to stay in the Emerald City and use her magic to abuse the very group Galinda moments ago said she would change her name to stand in solidarity with. Activism for Galinda and her ilk is a costume for her to wear when it is beneficial, which is easily removed at the first sign of inconvenience. The circumstances dictate the clothing, whether it be pro system or social justice warrior. It is not true friendship, I don't believe. Loyalty or allyship, it is all a performance. When times get rough, Galinda gets gone. when the, Glinda is girl boss feminism, a glossy veneer to hide women who uphold a system they believe they can benefit from. See, white women folk are See, white women for Trump. Look up white women for Trump and you'll see what I mean. I think about how much white women benefit from affirmative action while actively supporting those who would fight to destroy it in hopes that they can also benefit from that system. Always playing both sides, never ever choosing one strategy, if you will. This is not insane. This is how white power and women operate and have always operated. Shout about gender pay gap while completely ignoring intragender racial pay gap, educational outcome, police brutality, and anything else for that matter. Black women's plight is generally brought up by white women to further their narrative, to push their agenda, never really to get at the system, to undermine the system. Absolutely not. They will not do that. Never truly interrogating their privilege relative to other women. While other women buy the "we are all sisters" trope, which is nonsense, all the while white women refuse to sacrifice their comfort or attack the larger system. They might pretend to be in solidarity, but take a look at those voting patterns. Like, they might pretend to be in solidarity with you, but like, and some might truly be, but look at them voting patterns. While white women were leaning in and fighting for recognition in the C-suite, because if you let Sheryl Sandberg tell it, like if you let Sandberg, if you let Miss Sandberg tell it, the issue is the lack of will women have to lead. I'm glad Michelle Obama dragged her. Michelle Obama, I'm glad. Anyway, white feminists and women will not just give up their proximity to white men while understanding the racial and socioeconomic hierarchy that exists in their benefit, regardless of how they feel about the oppression of others. And they might actually really dislike the oppression of others. They're not about to change it. While we can love the ending of the Wicked movie as Elphaba belt out the impossible notes in Defying Gravity, note that right before Elphaba runs out and jumps flying off into the air after running with Galinda, saving Galinda, missing her escape through an air balloon because she waited for and saved Galinda, who was sent to retrieve her with the promise that her, Galinda's dream, would come true if she brought Elphaba back. Elphaba realized this is do or die. She reaches for Galinda, charm the broom to fly for their escape, and makes one last plea to Galinda. Elphaba says, "Come with me. Fight the system with me. Let's build a new world. There is nothing we can't do if we stick together. Please be with me. We can change the system. We're stronger together. We're sisters," she told Galinda. Galinda replied, "Girl, you look cold. Here is a cape. Good luck." Galinda gave her a cape and said, "Good luck out there in these streets by yourself." Elphaba is left on her own as she has always been. Not sure why she thought she wasn't on her own. Galinda chose familiarity. She chose comfort. She chose the system. Was she wrong? Get in the comments and let me know if you think Galinda was wrong, and let me know if you thought these women were going to side with you to fight against a system they benefit from. I want to say remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe and end it right here because I actually want us to go live and talk about this. Maybe on next week, Friday or Saturday. I don't know. Whenever I come back and I'm free, let's go live and discuss this. Because I kind of, this feels like undone. The video feels sort of incomplete, and I do kind of like it. Because I actually want you all to think down in the comment and engage with the movie and your thoughts specifically around white feminism. I think this is a good introduction to those ideas that pop up, and we can talk more about it live. So I think I should end it here instead of finishing my script. Yeah, I'm going to end it here. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you again later. Go see that movie. Love the movie. 9 out of 10. Great movie. All right. Bye.